It's Friday, July 7, and time for your Barbados Today morning news update. Thanks for joining us. I am Fernella Wedderburn. The closure of the Alma Parris Memorial Secondary School is not sitting well with some parents. In fact, they say news of the sudden closure came as a shock, as they were not officially informed. The Spicestown-based remedial institution shut its doors permanently yesterday.
At the end of the day, parents are supposed to know where the children are going before the world, and backwards. They move the children backwards. Let parents know first. The school's closing. Give them a reason why the school is closing. They didn't give us a reason why the school is closing. They didn't give us or tell us why, when it will, if it will ever be open back.
I think the educational system ain't really organizing itself. So I will already make up my mind before I leave home, whatever I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do for my child, so that's what I'm going to do. So for me, that's it.
However, parents were officially informed at a meeting with school and ministry officials yesterday about the schools their children had been allocated. Students under 15 will be going to St. George Secondary, Darrell Jordan Secondary, and the Grantley Adams Secondary School next term. Students who were preparing to go into upper 5th have been taken out of the secondary school system altogether and are to be placed in Barbados Vocational Training Board or the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polyclinic. Education Minister Ronald Jones says the 3 recommended schools fit the same criteria as Alma Parris.
There is more than adequate space in the school, because you're talking about children who should be in 3rd, 4th, and 5th form now, but who will still be part of a major remediation program, because the developmental, the stages of development, cognitive development, emotional development, will still be behind many of what we call the average student, if we can use that. So they can go into a school, they can be exposed in smaller groups to strong remedial teaching. They could still be involved in other sporting and cultural activities, which are also essential to pull out the cognitive or academic and educational side of them. And they can settle down and do well.
The minister is also urging parents to communicate their concerns to his ministry, saying no child under 16 will be out of school.
If those poor 16 persons, because anybody 16 and under will still be in school, but those over 16, we will find space for them. It's just a matter of saying what your needs are. People make too many mountains out of molehills. When simple conversation can resolve a lot of the issues that might confront people from time to time. At the same time, it does not say you have to be out of school at 16 anyhow. The Act just simply states that education is compulsory up to 16. We have children in our schools today who are 18 and 19, and some of them are not doing 6th form education. Some of them are doing returning 5ths and double returning 5ths, because once you can find a bit of accommodation after your first year 5th, you are accommodated in many of our schools. So that really is not an issue. They just need to say what their needs are, because it's not our wish or desire to force children out of schools. When they're forced out, they find employment in other places that we don't want.
In other news, they were demanding a total repeal of the controversial National Social Responsibility Levy, or a coping subsidy for their members. But local trade unions now say they are prepared to meet the government halfway on the levy, which went into effect last week. Following a 2-hour-long joint meeting of shop stewards from the Barbados Workers Union, the National Union of Public Workers, the Barbados Union of Teachers, and the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union at Solidarity House yesterday afternoon, President Akani McDowell told reporters that the unions are now willing to accept a 50% reduction in the NSRL.
We would accept a reduction of the NSRL, at least by
no more than
5%.
In other words, a 50% reduction, taking it to no more than 5% NSRL, as opposed to the present 10%.
But we understand too, and I guess this is from our position as public servants. We understand too that one particular action might not necessarily satisfy the population that we are serving. So there might need to be a combination of things to be done on behalf of the government in order to bring relief to the members.
The new position came even as unions announced a major march to Parliament next Tuesday in a show of opposition to the measure.
Among those plans is our intention to formally and symbolically deliver letters to the Prime Minister, the Leader of the Opposition, and the 2 independent members of Parliament on Tuesday, which is the next sitting of Parliament. As we deliver those letters, we will be joined by our membership, a representative proportion of our membership who will accompany us from Queen's Park as we walk towards the Parliament buildings to deliver the correspondence. Members of the public are of course invited to join the combined walk and add their voices and their bodies to this process.
Meantime, Prime Minister Frondell Stewart says while he understands the cries of residents and businesses about the NSRL, it was unnecessary. Individuals and businesses have been expressing concerns that the cost of living would skyrocket and that there would be job losses as a result of the levy. However, speaking to reporters in Grenada on the matter, Mr. Stewart said while no government enjoyed having to increase taxes, it was better for the taxes to be applied rather than cutting staff.
It is better, I think, to be going to work every day and having to deal with a higher price here or a higher price there than not to be going to work and having to deal with the same prices anyhow. And of course, if you're not going to work, you can't deal with the prices at all. You can't get the things you want. So I think that the outcry is understandable. The point has to be made over and over and over again. The last 10 years have been the most difficult years for the entire Caribbean since the 1930s. And that was not of Barbados' creation or Guyana's creation or Jamaica's creation. This happened outside of the Caribbean, but we have been feeling the effects in the Caribbean. And we just have to ride this through. And I am sure that when all is said and done, life will get somewhere near back to the normal to which we've been accustomed.
In sports, the West Indies' misery at the ICC Women's World Cup increased yesterday when they lost to New Zealand by 8 wickets and crashed to their 4th straight defeat. The Caribbean side surrendered to 150 all-out of 43 overs after being sent in at Somerset County ground and then watched helplessly as the Kiwis stormed to the target in the 19th over. Veteran opener Rachel Priest slammed the fastest ever Women's World Cup 50 en route to a stroke-filled 90, while Susie Bates struck an unbeaten 40 to take their side to 5 points and 4th in the 8-team standings. The West Indies remain at the bottom of the table without a point.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Who call and get your yams and potatoes? Wait, my girl, how you want to see you for long?
I got how you keeping, but you don't sell the nation paper no more.
But that paper ain't selling. This month now I stop selling that. Look, one time I would have make a little dollar on the Sunday sun, but when Sunday night, I still trying to get the weather there.
Well, you know you can't call that the Sunday sun no more. You're going to call that Sunset News. At no time that news stale.
People complain that them ain't got nothing in it to read and the price keep going up all the time. A woman abused me so sick the other day, telling me that she does read Barbados today online for free. I can't take that abusing soul, so I switched to my potatoes and yams.
Well, let me tell you, if pork selling, you got to raise pigs. How much for the yam?
Oh, 75 cents a pound.
But that's cheaper than that stale news. Give me...
How much you want?
A pound.
Only a pound? Anyhow, these eating real good. Let me wrap them up for you. Come.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
News from the region. Election campaigning hits up in Bermuda as the ruling One Bermuda Alliance outlines its plans for the country. The party of Premier Michael Dunkley is promising to, among other things, strengthen the economy and address social issues facing the country. More in this report from Gary Moreno of ZBN News.
Much of the talk, though, following the release of that platform, has centered around the $2,500 grant for newborn Bermudians, the $2 million grant for the Salvation Army, and the $1,000 for teachers to purchase additional classroom supplies, with the question being, just how is all this going to be paid for?
It's going to come from the budgets that we set. And this government has proven in our 4 budgets that we have managed them right and we have accounted for the money. We wouldn't put stuff in this platform if we couldn't make it happen and we couldn't budget for us. That's a big difference. There are a lot of differences between us and the opposition. One of the big differences is if we make a plan, we make a budget, we work that budget properly.
And if you think this is just gratuitous electioneering, Mr. Dunkley scoffs at any such notion.
We cut the cloth, we measure it twice, cut it once, and we work it. So when we say in here, these are things we can do, and we have to fund them, we will. Because we know it's the people's money, people are taxed hard-earned dollars for it, and we have to, in every right, make sure we account for those monies. And these are commitments that we know we can make. We know they're good for our people going forward. We know it will strengthen the fabric of our community.
And finally, at least 28 inmates are dead following a fight between rival gangs in a prison in southwestern Mexico. Officials say the pre-dawn fight broke out in the maximum security wing of the prison in the city of Acapulco. The victims were stabbed and beaten to death, with some decapitated. The state security spokesman said bodies were discovered throughout the unit, including inside the kitchen and in an area for conjugal visits. However, there were no signs that weapons were used. The governor said they have ordered an investigation into the deadly incident. And on that note, we come to the end of our news update. There is more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Or you can also tune in to Mix 96.9 FM for the very latest. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good morning.